Apparently, there's so little going on in Canada, like civil liberties, that if you tell a joke about Canada, they go bonkers.
So what happens when a very popular American commentator, Tucker Carlson of Fox News, muses about the US invading, or actually not even invading, liberating Canada? What happens? Hello, I'm Adrienne Batra. With me are Jamil Jivani and Brian Lilley. Jamil, I'm talking about, of course, and I'm sure many of our viewers have seen this already, Tucker Carlson, just in the last couple of weeks, talking about Canada needing to be liberated from Justin Trudeau. Have a look.
Why should we stand back and let our biggest trading partner, the country with which we share the longest border, and actually, I could just say a great country. I love Canada. I've always loved Canada because of its natural beauty. Why should we let it become Cuba? Like, why don't we liberate it? We're spending all this money to liberate Ukraine from the Russians. Why are we not sending an armed force north to liberate Canada from Trudeau? And I mean it.
So this, of course, sensitive Canadians, Jamil, an NDP MP tried to pass a motion in the House to resoundingly condemn Tucker Carlson.
The House condemns recent comments made by Fox News personality Tucker Carlson, in which he suggests U.S. armed forces liberate Canada.
But a bit ridiculous, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious that Tucker is, speaking lightly, and even on his show in response to NDP MP Matthew Green's attempt to get Parliament to denounce Tucker. He, made a joke of it about, would the Canadian military even be able to put up a fight?
You're flattering yourself, Canadian member of Parliament. We wouldn't need the armed forces. A couple of your college roommates just round up the sled dogs and you wouldn't be able to move.
I mean, I don't think it was a very serious comment. What I will say, though, that is interesting is that there has been this theme in American news coverage of Canada to portray us as this sort of like dystopian society that, and certainly we don't agree with a lot of Justin Trudeau's policies, but I don't think we're as far gone as a lot of Fox News coverage, for example, might indicate to their audience. So I do think I appreciate Canadians being patriotic enough to want to say like, hey, maybe don't talk about us that way. But certainly the NDP, as they do with everything, they take it too far and take what is a lighthearted comment and make it into something very serious, needing some kind of parliamentary action.
And I think, Brian, most parliamentarians that were in the House for that failed motion, because it didn't pass, recognize that, all right, we're going to defend ourselves, but we don't need to go so far as to waste, Parliament's time in order to condemn such actions. But let's just go back. Part of this mentality, I think, comes from the trucker convoy, the lockdowns that we had, this, we have this situation going on in a high school with a teacher wearing giant prosthetic breasts. We have, people trying to shut down Jordan Peterson. We have all sorts of various issues going on. And so they pluck those and put them into one, that Canada needs to be liberated from Trudeau. I believe Canada needs a new government, no question about that, and I think Trudeau should go. But what's your take on this?
Well, first off, you're right. MPs were not overly interested in Matthew Green's, theatrics. An MP from literally my old neighborhood, never mind my hometown, who was over the top. And I was watching the live stream as he did this, and most of them barely looked up, and the speaker said, "Do we have unanimous consent?" Nay. People didn't even want to look up and give this the time of day, because Tucker Carlson was obviously joking. The unfortunate part is that you're right. The Americans overstate how things are going in Canada, and Tucker Carlson regularly refers to Justin Trudeau as a dictator.
Canada under Justin Trudeau has become effectively a dictatorship, and we don't like dictatorships. We're America. We liberate dictatorships.
I don't like Justin Trudeau. And I can say this as someone, at one point I could say, yeah, I've spoken to Justin Trudeau. I've had beer with Justin Trudeau. I've, met him several times. He used to talk to me when I was a local reporter for his writing. And I'm not a fan of his government, but he's not a dictator. And we need to stop saying things like that. And all these bizarre elements that get played up on Fox News and elsewhere in the States, those all happen in America as well. I was on about an American news outlet about some of our attempts to shut down free speech on campuses here. And I said, well, wait a minute, what about the professor in Minneapolis area who was fired for showing an image of Muhammad? You know, this happens on both sides of the border. It is craziness, it's loopiness. I think normal people push back, but as far as the lockdowns go, there were parts of the United States that had stricter lockdowns than we did. California, for example, went way further than pretty much anywhere in Canada, save Quebec, maybe. And we're not saying let's liberate the United States from Joe Biden or Gavin Newsom, although Tucker may endorse that idea. I don't know. It is overstated regularly on the American, especially conservative media, the state that we're at.
Jamil, I'm going to give you the last word. I think that there is, certainly it's a conversation starter about liberating us. I'm not quite buying into that notion, but there are millions of Canadians who do want change, who do want to see a new government, who look at Parliament as it is right now, look at the Trudeau government as a government that does erode our freedom of speech, erode our choice, there's this steady erosion of who we are, allowing all sorts of school boards and universities to cancel Canada Day, cancel anybody that doesn't agree with a certain narrative. Last word to you.
Well, certainly. I mean, as you both have said, what makes us different from a place that might need to be liberated is that we have the ability to vote out our politicians. And certainly we should exercise that with a lot of the incumbents that are in office right now. I certainly believe that would make the country a much better place. And, that's on the voter to actually make that happen. But what I would say is quite important to remember as well is that, we are a country with a tremendous amount of possibility in front of us. And I feel like the comments that get made around this sometimes make us feel pessimistic or hopeless about the country. But there's a lot of great things that Canada has been and can continue to be. And I hope Tucker will invite maybe one of the three of us on the show to make that case sometime.
Yeah, and we'd be happy to go. But from the Canadian perspective, liberate us from Trudeau? Maybe not, but allow us to have the choice to throw him out of office? Definitely. Log on to Facebook and Twitter and let us know what you think. And go to thetorontosun.com for more videos and content that you will not find anywhere else.